Kai or K? K-A-I. Kai. Okay, well, Kai Thomas. Kai, would you stand and so we can recognize you? Kai will be a 10th grader this coming year at Howard High School. Kai excels in her academics and is active in her school and community. She's been a member of the Macon-Bibb County 4-H Club since the 6th grade and was recently voted by her peers to serve as the 10th grade representative for Macon-Bibb County's High School 4-H Club. This past year, Kai placed first in the Housing Equipment and Environment Project at District Project Achievement, Georgia 4-H's largest public speaking competition. She'll advance to the State 4-H Congress to compete against other district winners in her project. Outside of 4-H, Kai is a member of the Howard Symphonic Band, where she plays the clarinet. Kai, thank you very much for being with us. And then Zoe Economides. Zoe will be an 11th grader this coming year at the Academy for Classical Education, ACE. Zoe is a well-rounded student who not only excels in her academics, but is very active in many organizations in her school and community. Zoe has been a member of the Macon-Bibb County 4-H Club since the 6th grade and has had the honor of serving as board member for the Northeast District Junior Board of Directors, as well as report for the Macon-Bibb County High School 4-H Club. This past year, Zoe also competed in District Project Achievement, where she placed second in the Arts and Crafts Project. She also will be advancing to the State 4-H Congress to compete in her project. Outside of 4-H, Zoe has developed an interest in theater and was chosen as a cast member for ACE's recent play, The Addams Family. In this day and age when we hear about bad things about young people, and it's always bad, isn't it great to see two such accomplished and talented young people? Thank y'all very much for being here with you, and we wish you the best of success going forward. Next on our agenda is approval of the minutes. We had minutes of the pre-commission meeting held on June the 5th and also the regular commission meeting held on June the 5th. Those minutes have been prepared and distributed in advance. Are there any changes or corrections? If not, can I get a motion to approve as prepared? Second by Commissioner Allen. All in favor of approval of the minutes signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the minutes of those two meetings are approved. Invited guest. We have one guest that we want to invite at this point to come to the podium. Commissioner Allen has a special presentation that he would like to make either from here or down at the podium. Commissioner Allen, which would you?
Cut your camera on, girlfriend. Very great job. You don't want to see it on TV? Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't know, this is Mary Grace Shaw. Y'all see her on Channel 13 every day.
I want you to use the microphone.
Y'all can't hear me talk loud?
No. Okay. Well, and it wouldn't record.
This is Mary Grace Shaw. She's been a reporter for Channel 13 for now several years, but she's been part of our family for 2 years for this board. And she treats every one of us, as well as this everything else that she does, she treats them with the same respect, no matter what it is. She's going to be leaving us. This is, matter of fact, this is the last time she will be here. She's taking a trip. I will not tell you where, but I wish her well along with this board, and we wanted to give you something to remind you by that we're here. This is a card. This is from the board and the administration and the mayor.
Well, thank y'all.
God bless you.
Oh, thank y'all. Thank you. Bugging y'all anymore, so. But thank y'all for everything. Seriously, I really appreciate it.
Don't be a stranger, Mary Grace. Come back and see us. Any other invited guests that anybody has in the audience? If not, we'll move on to public comments on agenda items. Anybody else sign up? Judge, did we check it to see whether or not anybody signed up to talk to us about an agenda item other than the budget? And if you signed up to talk about the budget, we're not going to talk about it because it's not on the agenda. And while our county attorney is looking through that and getting them organized, there is one other announcement about a change to the agenda. The final item of old business, item U, which was the extension of the lease to the Chamber of Commerce, was also tabled in the Committee of the Whole meeting immediately preceding this. So if you are here to hear about item U, the extension of the Chamber of Commerce, that has been tabled and will be taken up at a later meeting. So if you're here for that, you may want to go ahead and be excused, but you're welcome to stay for other business as well.
Is there anything on the agenda about parking downtown?
No.
Okay, there's nothing
Okay.
there. It's all budget.
I'm advised that there are no other comments on agenda items, so we'll move on then to reports from our standing committees. The first, Operations and Finance. Commissioner Allen, got your light blinking. Was that
Mistake.
just from earlier? Okay. The report of the Operations and Finance Committee will be given by Vice Chairman Jones. Vice Chairman Jones, can you give us that report, sir?
Sir, I've got it right here, the summary thereof. From June the 12th, 2018, we took the following action. Committee approved the following SPLOST project expenditures: $235,681 to NAFCO for various turnout gear for use by the fire department. Makes their job a little safer. $42,500 to Moreland Altabelli for program management for Jeffersonville Road, Forest Hill Road, and Sardis Church Road projects. $81,276 to Stantec Consulting for planning and design of a sidewalk on Pine Hill Drive. These are all SPLOST dollar projects. The committee approved the following agreements and contracts: an agreement with Environmental Systems for Arcus software in the amount of $150,000 payable at $50,000 per year for 3 years. That's supposed to save us some money. A lease agreement with State Properties Commission for office space located at 560 Oglethorpe Street, occupied by the Department of Juvenile Justice. The ground lease agreement with the Chamber of Commerce. That's the one we removed, but with the Chamber of Commerce for the Chamber building for an additional 8 years through May 31st, 2030. The committee approved establishing new regulations governing Lake Tobesofkee related to parking fees, boat launch fees, and facility rental fees. The request for proposals for surveillance cameras was tabled until after the work session scheduled for July the 10th, 2018, to give the commission more time to evaluate the use of cameras. Codes were tabled to allow time for public hearings. One was a revision to the alcohol beverages code and a new code for short-term vacation rentals. The committee accepted the following grants: from the state of Georgia, Office of the Governor, Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, a grant for $111,060 for the Macon Judicial Circuit Adult Felony Drug Court, a grant for $249,630 with local matching funds of $27,700 to the Macon Judicial Circuit Adult Mental Health Court, a grant for $53,868 for the Macon Judicial Court Juvenile Court, a grant for $200,743 with a local match of $22,000 to the Macon Judicial Court Veterans Court, and a grant for $377,802. Those are all grants from the state of Georgia. The committee approved the 5-year short-term work program. The committee approved transferring $4,000 from salaries to small equipment and travel in the Solicitor General's office. That concludes the report from June the 12th.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Jones. We'll go next to Economic and Community Development, and that report will be given to us by Chairman Lucas. Chairman Lucas?
Thank you, Ms. Mayor and fellow commissioners. The Economic and Community Development Committee met on June the 12th 2018, and we took the following action. The committee authorized Bragg Jam to hold its 2018 concert crawl in downtown Macon on Friday, July 27th, 2018, and to permit festival goers to carry and consume alcoholic beverages on designated streets in downtown Macon. The committee heard an overview of the film industry in Georgia, and more specifically for Macon, from Assistant County Attorney Michael McNeil. This will be an ongoing topic for discussion in our Economic and Community Development Committee. This concludes the report of the Economic and Community Development Committee.
Thank you, Chairman Lucas, for that. Next standing committee will be Public Safety Committee, and that report will be given to us by Chairman Shepard. Chairman Shepard?
Thank you. The committee met on June 12th, 2018 and took the following action. We heard a report from Mr. Tom Ellington, who is the chairman of the Pedestrian Safety Review Board, regarding the work of the board and the plans for the future. And they've made some pretty strong headway in that and making it safer for pedestrians in this community. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Chairman Shepard. And next, Facilities and Engineering Committee, and I understand that Vice Chairman Shepard will make that report for us as
Yes,
well.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee met also on the 12th of June, and the committee expressed support for the extension of I-14 through Macon-Bibb County. The committee also accepted certain unregistered paved roads for public use as part of the entire county road system. This completes the report of Facilities and Engineering.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Shepard. Appreciate that. That brings us then to the consent agenda, and usually that's the time when we have our alcoholic beverage licenses, but there are no alcoholic beverage licenses to be considered tonight, so we'll move on to old business. First item of old business was the budget, but that has been tabled in committee and will not be discussed at this meeting. So we'll move on to item B, which is an intergovernmental agreement for the Little Richard House as amended by the Committee of the Whole, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the Macon-Bibb County Community Enhancement Authority and Macon-Bibb County, Georgia, related to the county's lease of the Little Richard House to the Community Enhancement Authority for purposes of providing a neighborhood resource center for the Pleasant Hill neighborhood and for other purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval as amended. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution as amended is adopted. Next is item C, which is the issuance of a RFP for health insurance, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving and authorizing procurement to post the request for proposals for health insurance plan administrator, stop-loss coverage, pharmacy benefit management, and ancillary plans to include life, dental, disability, and vision insurance, and for other lawful purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is item D, which is a request for the committee to consider changes to implement a 457 plan, compensation plan for employees, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to request the Health Care and Retirement Benefits Committee to assist in developing and making recommendations to the Macon-Bibb County Commission related to implementing a 457 deferred compensation plan and a 401A defined contribution plan for new employees of Macon-Bibb County and for other purposes.
The Committee of the Whole recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing. Commissioner Lucas, did you have further discussion on this item?
Well, my light was on for the health insurance, but my comments are related to both of them. So,
Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I missed your light. Please excuse me.
Okay. I just want employees to know, both retirees and current employees, that Commissioner Allen's resolution to set up this committee was just a great thing, and it was endorsed by this entire commission. The work of the committee was tremendous. We learned an awful lot. There are two commissioners who are serving, Commissioner Watkins and myself are serving on that committee. We learned almost too much about health insurance. I kind of see it in my sleep, health insurance. But rest assured that all of the folks who were on that health committee worked very, very hard. We learned all that we needed to learn. We did a tremendous amount of work, and the local president of the NAACP, Ms. Gwen Westbrooks, served on that committee. She is here. I don't see any other members of that committee. But we accomplished an awful lot, and we're looking forward to identifying companies that can give us a better deal on our health insurance and these other things that we're looking for. And the benefits are going to be for our employees, both current and retired. So rest assured that the work continues, and after we get this done, then we will tackle that issue of the other benefits. So thank you for letting us serve.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. If further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution to request healthcare and retirement benefits to make suggestions or recommendations about a 457 deferred compensation plan signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. That brings us to item E, and a resolution of support for a new proposed interstate highway, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to express support for the extension of I-14 into and through Macon-Bibb County and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Jones, got your light on this time.
Question, refresh my memory on what, it's just a letter of support saying we as a commission support it?
Yes, that's my understanding. It was just a resolution of support. And I think it runs from Augusta to Macon and Columbus and
right. I remember
and on
when
out
the
to Texas.
young man was here, but it's
right.
just a letter of support saying we support it.
Correct.
Okay.
Is there further discussion? Commissioner Allen.
The I-14, I saw some of y'all talking about out there. It's something that's been in discussion for so many of years to try to connect Augusta, Georgia, all the way up to out toward Texas. And they're already doing some work out, I believe, in Mississippi on this road, and it's connectors and all. And there should be some information coming to us within the next 30 days, and we'll put it out. Well, I'll ask Chris Floor to put it out on the show that we have, the hub, to let y'all know exactly what's going on, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Allen. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item F is a resolution to accept additional paved roads into the county road system, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to authorize the acceptance of certain unregistered paved roads for public use as part of the county road system and for other lawful purposes.
The Facilities and Engineering Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution approving Bragg Jam and their annual festival, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing Bragg Jam, Inc., a nonprofit organization, to hold its 2018 concert crawl in downtown Macon, Georgia, on Friday, July 27, 2018, to permit festival goers to carry and consume alcoholic beverages in and about the designated streets in downtown Macon under specific conditions, to require Bragg Jam Inc. to provide for and/or reimburse Macon-Bibb County for all expenses incurred for security and cleanup and for other lawful purposes.
The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is accepting a grant for adult felony drug court, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a State of Georgia Office of the Governor Criminal Justice Coordinating Council grant in the amount of $111,060 that has been awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Adult Felony Drug Court, requiring a local match of $12,340 in substantially the same form as attached as Exhibit A and for other purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is another grant, this one for the Adult Mental Health Court, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a grant from the State of Georgia Office of the Governor Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $249,630, requiring local matching funds of $27,737 for a total of $277,367, awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Adult Mental Health Court in substantially the same form as the hereto attached Exhibit A and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is item J, which is another grant, this one for the juvenile court, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a juvenile justice incentive grant from the State of Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $53,868 with no local match awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Juvenile Court for the purpose of funding a data entry clerk's position in substantially the same form as the hereto attached Exhibit A and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is item K, which is yet another grant, this one to the Veterans Court, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a grant from the State of Georgia Council of Accountability Courts Judges Funding Committee for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $200,743, requiring local matching funds of $22,305 for a total of $223,048 awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Veterans Court in substantially the same form as hereto attached Exhibit A and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is another more substantial grant for the juvenile court, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the acceptance of a juvenile justice incentive grant from the State of Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for fiscal year 2019 in the amount of $377,802 with no local match awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Juvenile Court in substantially the same form as hereto attached Exhibit A and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. That brings us to item M, which is approval of a short-term work program, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission approving the submission of the Macon-Bibb County 5-year short-term work program and capital improvement element to the Middle Georgia Regional Commission for compliance review and for other purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a resolution to purchase some firefighter turnout gear, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with North American Fire Equipment Company, Inc. in the amount of $235,681.25 for various turnout gear clothing for use by the Macon-Bibb County Fire Department to be paid from 2018 SPLOST proceeds and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is item O, which is another extension, a modification to an existing agreement with Moreland Altabelli, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to modify the existing agreement between Macon-Bibb County and Moreland Altabelli Associates, Inc. related to project number 5240-00, Program Management, by increasing the contract price by an amount not to exceed $42,500 from 2017 SPLOST bond proceeds and 2018 SPLOST proceeds to pay for the additional program management duties undertaken with respect to Jeffersonville Road Expansion Project, as well as projects on Forest Hill Road and Sardis Church Road, to extend the term of the contract and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Mayor Pro Tem Tillman?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. It seems at least every 3 to 6 months we're approving something by Martin Altabelli. Just don't understand the process of when they give us a price. Who is it that is looking into it, or comparison? Because, I mean, and of course, you know, I support the project, but every time we look up, they just giving us a price and we always approve it. I mean, who is it that back check them to see? I mean, we just accept their price and we just approve it. I mean, that's been going on for at least 4 years now that I'm here, and I know that Dave Fortson is in charge. But I mean, so they just give him a price. I mean, does he give them a price? Do we counter? Do we negotiate?
The county engineer indicated to us that this was a maximum amount, and not all of it would be used, in his opinion. But to keep from coming back on a repeating basis for small advances, this is to cover what he thinks, and he's going to double check it as we go through. As a maximum amount for contract modifications.
I would be interested in knowing two things: the amount of money we've approved for them since 2014, and the amount of money that has been approved to them since the 1994 SPLOST. And that'd be interesting number and figures to see. And so I would ask that whether it's the attorney or somebody get those figures and numbers.
Finance, we'll
yeah,
ask.
I want the numbers from 1994 to 2014, and then from 2014 to 2018, how much money we spent with Martin Altabelli.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. That brings us to item P, which is for sidewalks, engineering for some sidewalks on Pine Hill Drive, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for the planning and design of a sidewalk on Pine Hill Drive in the amount of $81,276 payable from SPLOST proceeds and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Brings us to item Q, which is for some additional software licensing And I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Environmental Systems Research Institute, Inc. for ARC GIS software licenses in the amount of $150,000 payable at a rate of $50,000 per year for 3 years from the IT department budget for software licenses and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Next is a third renewal of a lease agreement with the State Properties Commission for space at the Juvenile Justice Center, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission authorizing the mayor to accept a third renewal of a lease agreement for another year with the State Properties Commission for office space located at 560 Oglethorpe Street, occupied by the Department of Juvenile Justice, with said renewal to begin July 1st, 2018, and expire on June 30th, 2019, and for other lawful purposes.
Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. That brings us to item S, which is some increases to parking fees, boat launch fees, and other fees at Lake Tobosoffke, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
A resolution of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to establish new regulations governing the Lake Tobosoffke recreation areas related to parking fees, boat launch fees, and facility rental fees, and to provide a water park only summer parking pass for users of the water park who have purchased season passes, and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Item T is a line transfer for the Solicitor General's budget, and I'll ask the clerk to read that by caption.
An ordinance of the Macon-Bibb County Commission to transfer $4,000 from salaries and wages full-time to small equipment and improvement general and travel, hotels, food, and other in the Solicitor General's budget and for other lawful purposes.
The Operations and Finance Committee recommends approval. Is there further discussion? Commissioner Lucas, got your light on.
Thank you. This amount might seem like a small amount when we compare it to our total budget and the total budget for that particular office, but the fact that this item was brought to us for review said to us with the discussion that there is a need for more of this and not less. Previously, I think at the old county and I know at the former city of Macon, we had in-depth budget reviews. And all of the items, the changes that were being presented couldn't just be hidden away and done administratively. There were so many of the changes that had to come to us for full and open discussion. And I think the discussion that centered around this particular thing makes us know that we need to do more of this, not less. And I just want to compliment the new chair of appropriations because he has started to have more in-depth hearings on this budget and other kinds of items, and I think citizens are going to be pleased to see some of the information that we get as a result of the in-depth review. We are also, several of us are also asking that our internal auditor take a look at a number of functions, and one that we will be having her to come and report on will be the golf course. You'll recall we asked that the internal auditor take a look at the functions, the new process that was put in place at the golf course, and so we'll be asking for a report on that. That's our way of knowing more about what's going on, whereas before we have been kind of lax in making sure that we knew everything that was going on, but that won't happen going forward. So we pledge that to you. But I'm glad to see that we were able to discuss this and give approval to it.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the ordinance is approved. Item U was tabled in the pre-commission meeting and is removed from the agenda. That brings us now to new business, and then there's only one item of new business that's been prepared by the county attorney's office and sent down to us, and that's a resolution to authorize the mayor to execute a purchase and sale agreement with Williams Communications Incorporated in the amount of $76,407.03 for the purchase of a fire station tower for use by the Macon-Bibb County Fire Department to be paid out of 2018 SPLOST proceeds. I'm going to refer that to the Operations and Finance Committee for further study and evaluation. That is all of the new business. I do anticipate additional items of new business being prepared by the county attorney's office and sent down to us for our next meeting. They will appear on the agenda that is published on Friday. The clerk publishes the agenda on Friday that has all of the new business that will be referred to committees for study and evaluation. Committee meetings will start next Tuesday morning in the committee meeting room immediately behind us, beginning at 9 o'clock a.m. Next Tuesday. What's next Tuesday? The 26th. Next Tuesday, the 26th, 9 a.m. And check the agenda that comes out on Friday for all of the new business that would be referred to the committees for discussion. That brings us now to item 11, which is public comments on non-agenda items. And just taking them, we got Ms. Hardnett, I believe, wants to talk to us about the budget. Is Ms. Hardnett still here?
I'll give you $1 for almost getting it right.
Hardnett. I'm sorry, Ms. Hardnett. Come to the podium, please, ma'am. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
I live out in South Macon in the Linmore Estates. And coming and going into our community is always a difficulty due to the log trucks coming and going and tearing up our roads. I don't know if you have any kind of agreement with a paper mill out there, but I'd like for you at least to look into this, and my suggestion is you make them pay for it, not us.
Thank you, Ms. Hardnett. We appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and we'll look into that log trucks coming past Linmore Estates. Andy Ambrose is here and wants to talk to us about the budget proposal. Mr. Ambrose, thank you for your patience. You're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners. As you're working through this very long and process for the budget, I just wanted to leave you with some things to consider. And those are in regards to the Tubman Museum and its impact in this community. Even though we're described as an outside agency, I think we consider ourselves to be very central and critical role that we play in this community in terms of education, economic impact, and quality of life. And I just want to go through some of those to give you some examples of that. In education, we provide traveling exhibits of art and local history that go around to all sorts of schools, private and public, throughout Middle Georgia, throughout the state, and increasingly into other states that focus on art and local history. We have provided for the last 5 years, free of charge, through grants that we've secured or through partnerships, after-school classes in the visual performing arts at local Title I elementary schools. We've provided for the last 7 years in partnership with Middle Georgia University's State University School of Education, free workshops in math and reading for underperforming 3rd and 5th grade students. We provide a host of other educational programs, activities, tours, and workshops at the museum that are tied to grade level subjects and Georgia performance standards. And currently we're in discussions and planning with the administration of the Bibb County School District and with other educational, cultural, and arts partner to not only strengthen our relationships, but also to establish programs and educational experiences that engage students, that unleash their artistic and creative abilities, and improve test scores and graduation rates. Now, we think a lot of museums in terms of educational impact, but I also want to point out that we have a huge and growing economic impact in this community as well. Tourism is one of those areas. Our new museum draws visitors from all over the Southeast, the nation, and the world. We're the largest museum of our type in the Southeast, and we're one of the largest in the nation. We have a national reputation for innovative programs and for the partnerships that we create with other organizations in the community. An instance of how we're growing and the impact we're having can be seen in our two signature events, All That Jazz and Pan-African Festival. Let me start with Pan-African Festival first. This April, because the festival had grown so big in the years since we've opened the new museum, we had, by suggestion of the fire marshal, had to leave Cherry Street Plaza. We moved to Central City Park. Estimated by the Sheriff's Department, over 25,000 people attended that festival. Many of you came by there and witnessed it on that Saturday and Sunday in April. And in addition, even though we weren't anticipating that big a turnout and we didn't have the security presence we will have next year, no incidents of violence, no incidents of disruption, no incidents of theft. This was a wonderful gathering of people, all in a wonderful atmosphere and having a great time. But the important thing about that is, not only do we have that increase in attendance, our vendor pool grew by 25% to over 100 vendors. Those vendors were selling things, long lines all weekend. And when you start considering the impact that has in terms of sales tax, in terms of the hotel motel taxes that people coming to this this event pay, and money spent in local businesses, restaurants, and stores. Now, All That Jazz, that's become one of the signature social events. Many of you, if not most of you, come to it every year. It's grown so big, and we have such a big headline entertainer this year, Patti LaBelle, that we're moving the whole thing over to the Centraplex. We expect to sell that out, and what that means is not only does that help raise some funding for us, but also increase income to the city and the community through taxes on ticket sales, parking fees, concessions, and lodging in local hotels and motels. Another initiative that's going to have a huge impact that we're already involved in. You may have read the article in the paper about Fodor that ranked Macon as the second most important musical capital in the nation behind Nashville, ahead of Memphis, ahead of New Orleans. We've got a history here that hasn't been told and put to good use yet in terms of generating funds in tourism. So we're already working with the CVB, partnering with other area musical attractions and historic entertainment venues. One of the things that came up is we had a roundtable discussion at the CVB with all of these partners in the community and with representatives from the state tourism department. What they said was, there's not another city in this state or in the nation perhaps that has all of these things like Capricorn, the Douglas Theater, H&H Restaurant, the Redding Foundation, and what the Tubman Museum is going to do towards this initiative is to create a new exhibit, core exhibit at the Tubman Museum that'll focus on Macon and the growth of black music and musicians in the 50s and 60s, centered around Little Richard, Otis Redding, James Brown, and really establishing the connections and partnerships between those artists, particularly Otis Redding, and Capricorn. There would not be a Capricorn.
Thank you.
There would not be.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, let me
Thank you,
just
Mr.
end with
Ambrose.
this. Don't kill. Consider this when you're making your decisions. Don't kill this golden goose for the community, because we're in the process of putting a lot of things in place. Give us that option to get through this year, and what I propose to you is work with us, the CVB, and the state legislative delegation to add that 1% increase hotel motel tax. We put heads in beds, focus that money on us, and it will not cost residents in this community anything,
Thank
and
you,
it
Mr.
will take
Ambrose.
us off your budget.
Thank you, Mr. Ambrose. Thank you very much for your time, sir, and for all of your hard work. Mr. Wade Horton, Mr. Horton's here, wants to talk to us about the budget. Mr. Horton, thank you very much for being here. You're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity to come here. First time, I know you guys are used to me coming talking about the Transit Authority, but one of the first times that I come here to speak was about consolidation. I know that we have a vacant seat, and I know that the conversation right now is about cutting. Evidently, they were not paying attention when the government was consolidated, because it was discovered that we had already cut a lot of fat. So if you cut anything else, you're gonna be cutting some prime meat. Because a lot of people are dependent on a lot of services here. So, and I know you guys are in a bad situation as far as decision making. We all are in a bad position, because we love Macon and we love to see it thrive, and it breaks our heart to see what has happened. When I first started coming, one of the times when I started coming, I was talking about consolidation, and I was vehemently against consolidation because it seemed too good to be true, and it seemed like it was going to cause more hardships than anything else. At the time, it was said that we would have 2 tax districts, and that taxes would not go up in the unincorporated, and it would remain about the same in the was the former Macon city limits. But a lot of us came out and said that double taxation was not right, and eventually that wrong was made right. But that wrong is what put us in this situation now. So cutting, or raising health insurance costs, or cutting benefits for employees, it's not going to help. It's going to hurt more than help. Consolidation has really put us in a bad position, and I read a comment that made accusations about the current chair of the Appropriation Committee, who just got that position. So we know that because he just got it, we know that the blame doesn't lie there. Matter of fact, I don't even think the blame would lie on the former person that held that position, because my thought is that consolidation, it would be too big for anybody to head of the committee to navigate through it the way it needed to be. We were inevitably, it would end up the way it is now, because of so many people coming out and talking about double taxation. You lost a lot of money. So the last thing that I think I remember hearing was because people are not being double taxed, that cut the budget down to about $60 million. So I guess in order to find out how much the mill rate need to be, I guess you would have to go and determine how much taxes will have to be collected to end up with this $60 million. Really, I'm disappointed. Disappointed that we've gotten to this point. I'm disappointed that consolidation wasn't considered to be phased in at various points, so that we can get a handle on it, on this budget. We saw where it failed in other communities, and they suffered. Because at this point, I don't know of any situation that our former governments were in where we felt like this. This is totally a result of this decision. Now, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know a solution to it, but I tell you, I see taxes going up. I see that happening. How much, I don't know. The effect of it, I believe people are probably going to leave, and then you're going to have to raise taxes again or come up with something else. So all this has to be considered. We even got, again, meters downtown, parking meters, now that people are coming back downtown. Throughout my lifetime, I've seen meters installed, taken away, installed, taken away, and now they're installed again. And now I'm just wondering, are people gonna stop coming back downtown? Because some people may say, oh, I'm not gonna pay to go eat when I can go eat somewhere else and park in a nice parking lot lit. So my heart goes out to the people of this community. It goes out to you guys. I pray for you guys that you make the right decision, because we need to work together to help this situation to improve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Horton. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate your comments. Thank you very much. Next, Mr. I may mispronounce this, Hadar Khalil. Mr. Khalil, you're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Hadar Khalil. I'm the owner of Cherry Street Hookah, located in downtown Macon. And I'm here to discuss about our current alcohol ordinance, specifically the brown bagging permit. Currently today, if you wanted to obtain a brown bagging permit, you do have to get a consumption on premises license. Unfortunately, the only consumption on premises license is the actual sale of alcohol license. It's the liquor license, and it's roughly between $4,000 to $5,000. So for the brown bagging ordinance, it states that if you do get the permit, you cannot charge customers to bring their alcohol in, and we cannot pour their drinks for them, which I am fine with. Unfortunately, due to my religion, I'm not allowed to sell alcohol, and I don't want to sell alcohol. I don't want to be responsible for anybody's actions after their intoxication. Although the nightlife in downtown, they want alcohol. People want to drink. And unfortunately, I'm not allowed to let people bring their alcohol in because the city is requiring me to obtain a $5,000 license on something I don't want to make money on. I have a few ideas to maybe simplify your thoughts. Maybe make a consumption on premises license separate than the actual sale, or maybe allow the brown bagging permit to be obtained without a consumption on premises, or not only consumption on premises, but actually the sale license. You know, have the same requirements, have a business license, have the engineer come and measure the distance between a school and a church, have the zoning come out and zone the building, you know, require insurance, the same requirements for the sale of alcohol without having to get the sale of alcohol license. I know I'm not obligated to sell alcohol if I do get the license, but as a business owner, it's not a smart move to spend $5,000 on something I can't benefit off of, other than allowing the customers to bring their alcohol and enjoy. Now, unlike other nightlifes in downtown Macon, we actually have the chance to engage and converse with our customers. And we do surprisingly get a lot of outsiders, people that are not from Macon, people that drive 30 miles just to come and smoke hookah at our establishment. And I believe that this helps the city because I'm sure, you know, somebody's going to go to a gas station and spend money at the gas station. Somebody's going to go to a hotel and get a hotel room. Somebody's going to go out and eat. So I don't want to sound selfish and just think about me, but this does help the city because we get a lot of military personnel from Warner Robins. We get a lot of people from Milledgeville. We get a lot of people from the surrounding counties and the outskirts of Middle Georgia. And we just want to survive. We just want to be able to allow people to bring their alcohol in and, you know, without any problems. So I hope you guys think about this, and I hope you guys really hear me out and make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khalil. We appreciate you being in and appreciate your comment. Asbury Stembridge. Mr. Stembridge, are you still here? Donna Walters. Is it Walters? Thank you. You're recognized for 5 minutes, please, ma'am.
Take me that long. I'm Donna Walters, and I've been a realtor and a citizen of this community for a long time. Graduated from A.L. Miller High School in 1969. And I am concerned about our property taxes continually going up and concerned about the values of people's homes and us not being able to sell their homes for the value that they need to be. So I know that y'all have a very hard job ahead of you, but I want you to know that we are hearing a lot of comments in the community of the realtors, just people in general in the community, and I want to make sure that you really take it to heart before you make a decision on the budget of Macon, because it's important to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walters. We appreciate you being in, appreciate your comments. Mr. Richardson, Donald Richardson, got some grassroots reflections he wants to share with us. Welcome, sir. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, my article today is the Knights of the Golden Circle, a semi-military secret society in the United States in the Middle West between 1861 and 1864. The purpose of which was to bring the Civil War to a close and restore the Union as it was. There is some evidence that before the Civil War, there was a Democratic secret organization of the same name with its principal membership in the southern states. After the outbreak of the Civil War, many of the Democrats of the Middle West who were opposed to the war policy of the Republicans organized the Knights of the Golden Circle, pledging themselves to exert their influence to bring about peace. In 1863, owing to the disclosure of some of its secrets, the organization took the name of Order of American Knights, and in 1864, this became the Sons of Liberty. The total membership of this order probably reached the 250,000 to 300,000, principally in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin, Kentucky, and southwestern Pennsylvania. Fernando Wood of New York seems to have been the chief officer, and in 1864, Clement L. Vallandigham became the second in command. The great importance of the Knights of the Golden Circle and its successors was due to its opposition to the war policy of the Republican administration. The plan was to overthrow the Lincoln government in the election and give to the Democrats the control of the state and federal governments, which would then make peace and invite the southern states to come back into the Union on the old footing. In order to obstruct and embarrass the Republican administration, the members of the order held peace meetings to influence public opinion against the continuance of the war, purchase arms to be used in uprising which would place the peace treaty in control of the federal government, or failing in that, to establish a Northwestern Confederacy, and took measures to set free the Confederate prisoners in the North and to bring the war to a forced close. All these plans failed at the critical moment, and the most effective work done by the order was in encouraging desertion from the federal armies, preventing enlistments, and resisting the draft. Wholesale arrests of leaders and numerous seizures of arms by the United States authorities resulted in a great general collapse of the order late in 1864. 3 of the leaders were sentenced to death by a military commission, but sentence was suspended until 1866, when they were released on the decision of the United States Supreme Court in the famous case Ex parte Milligan. And again, this is from the 11th edition of Encyclopedia Britannica, which I always try to promote as far as having to build up a knowledge base to raise up the general level of society that we are having the problems with. Thank you so much.
Mr. Britton, thank you. We appreciate you being here and appreciate your comments, sir. Thank you very much. Jackie Spradley. Miss Spradley? Are you still here with us? Jackie Spradley. Hey, Miss Spradley. Good evening. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
I'm coming to talk with y'all concerning the parking situation with the parking meters for the Dempsey residents, because for them to pay, the Dempsey residents is on fixed income, and for to have the parking meters put down in I understand for $1.25 an hour. That's what I understood. And for the residents that live there, is disability and low income and fixed income. So now how are they going to manage around the situation with the meters for the Dempsey? That's what I'm talking about. The residents at the Dempsey. I want to know what's going on with the residents. Where they going to park? How they going to manage this on a fixed income and disabled? A lot of senior citizens are down there also. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. This is a time for us to listen to your concerns,
Okay.
not to get into a back and
well,
forth.
all right. What main thing is,
Right.
I'm concerned about the parking meters and the residents of the Dempsey, because they're on fixed income, disability, and senior citizens. That's all. That's the main thing.
Very
and I'd
good.
like to know something about it.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Ms. Bradley. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Next, Mr. Willie Turner. All right. Pass. Dolores Lumpkin. Pass. Tom Sebastian wants to talk to us about blight. Mr. Sebastian, thank you very much for your patience. So you're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Just want to bring your attention to your code enforcement for maintaining a property is like $35 per month. Where in Houston County it's like $200 per month, and in Putnam County I think it's $300 a month. So I'd like for you to consider surveying surrounding counties and see what they do for enforcement of their blight conditions, and see if we could raise that penalty to make it more meaningful to the people who are offending the company, the county.
Very, very good. Thank you for that suggestion. We appreciate it, Mr. Sebastian. Terry McGee? Is Terry McGee still here? He left, all right. Sarah Hunt. Hey, Ms. Hunt. We're glad to see you, and you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Here you are. Thank you. I sent a letter to you, email, but I want to make sure you got it because some folks don't read their email, and you get so much email until this one is probably way down, number 900 or something. This is from National Action Network, Middle Georgia Chapter. Sarah Hunt, President, 5511 Bloomfield Road, Suite 1, Macon, Georgia. National Action Network, Middle Georgia Chapter has contacted our attorney, Stacy Morris of Peachtree City, Georgia, to begin the lawsuit against Macon-Bibb County Mayor and Commissioners. We have waited patiently for you to replace the unfair garbage ordinance, which you have not. Commissioners Jones and Allen have assured us this was going to be done in June. Well, June is here, and we still have the same 1, 2, 3. Secondly, since you have money set aside for training, we the citizens are requesting that all commissioners take cost accounting and managerial accounting. You need to know how to manage the citizens' money more effectively. Reviewing the line items on the proposed budget, we the citizens of Macon-Bibb are questioning the funding of the Industrial Authority from our tax money that you are preparing your government yearly budget. You are giving the Industrial Authority about $1 million in your budget. Then, from SPLOST funds, the Industrial Authority is receiving $2.5 million for the next 5 years. All commissions and agencies that will be receiving 2018 SPLOST funding, their amount in the 2019 budget needs to be reduced by the amount of SPLOST funding they will be receiving. We are requesting you to call a public hearing for the following entities with a full report of all funds received from the taxpayers distributed to them by you: Industrial Authority, Urban Development Authority, Macon Transit Authority, Land Bank Authority, Keep Macon Beautiful. We are demanding an accounting of our money. You are still asking for more money from us, raising our taxes again. And you want us to vote for another penny tax, OLAS. I don't think so. Until there is complete openness and accountability for our monies you are spending and giving away, forget it. Secondly, this is to re-emphasize. You have money set aside for training. We are requesting that all commissioners take cost accounting and managerial accounting. You need to know how to manage the city's money more effectively. I've had 45 hours of accounting, and I know that these accounting courses are essential, and you also need to take another is financial, managerial, and you need to take one that's pertaining to economics, that financial management class also. I feel citizens should have some say in who represents them on the SPLOST committee. 5 members committee, and only 3 come to the meetings. That has got to change. We need at least 7 members on the SPLOST committee, and we need to have some say-so on who's sitting on there. Thank you. Oh, one more thing, since I got a few more minutes. This is National Gun Violence Awareness Month. The color is orange, and we're asking everybody to help us promote non-violence, gun violence, and we become more aware of it, and we need to start campaigning and writing our legislators to pass some positive gun laws to get this gun violence under control. We've had too many killings in Macon, and we need some local ordinances to help with that also. And we need you to, during this month, let's try to get some things going to help make some changes there. Another thing, I was looking at the SPLOST funding. All the parks are listed in the SPLOST funding except Rosa Parks Square. I want to know why.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. We appreciate your comments. Shelby Neal. Shelby Neal wants to talk to her about taxes. Ms. Neal, thank you very much for your patience. We appreciate it, and you're recognized for five minutes.
Thank you for having me, and thank y'all for up here representing us too. I had spoke to this real wise woman before we started, and she made a wise statement to me. She said, "This isn't black and white, this is green." And it is about green. And we need to really look at what's going on in Macon. I was born here, raised here. It makes me so sad. I see our realtors, they got up and left. I wish they were staying, because this is affecting our community. People are selling and moving. And we don't want our community to just become a bankrupt city. We don't want that to happen in this community, and it's happening. Now, I personally, I'm retired. Me and my husband's on fixed income. I didn't never think we'd say that, but we're there now. And I have some property in North Carolina, and on the tax that I pay there, when I send it in, they ask, do I want to pay monthly? I wish y'all would consider this, because when we have our garbage bill, that's outrageous at that time, and we've got Christmas, we've got the taxes coming in. See if we can do it at increments, so it's not so hard on anybody, but especially people that have finally got where they cannot have to worry about working and stuff, and can live a little bit without living high on the hog. And we don't do that. And I don't think the city of Macon should live like that either and act like that. We live within our means, and I think Macon should do that. And my mother had some property in Macon. She passed away in the city of Macon, and this was when we first consolidated. And yeah, Y'all went down on the taxes for the city of Macon, but I don't think the city of Macon realized y'all went down on the value of the homes too. My mother's home that I finally had to sell dropped half the value. The taxes went down, but the value went down, and that does not help people when that happens to the house. So, but where I live at, which used to be Bibb County, mine went up, but my services went down. We hardly ever see a police officer out that way, a sheriff out that way, which we used to see them regularly. So it's affecting people of where they're going to stay in Macon or not. And me and my husband is possibly one of those people. And I do not want to, I want to stay. Miss Lucas said something last time that really hit home to me. If we are concerned, we need to be at these meetings. Okay, you're probably going to see me at every meeting that we have, because I am concerned about this, and I'm going to stay. She mentioned to me, stay if you want to be concerned, and I did last time. We have, did you cut me off? No. We have, we've got to, I'm going to ask y'all this, and I'm going to ask you please to do it. Let's have a meeting with Jesus. Yeah, let's have a meeting with Jesus. Y'all go into prayer about this. Don't just do this tax thing without really going into a prayer and asking, what can we do? We need potholes filled in this town. My car rattles like all get-outs, and it's not a real old car because of potholes. We need trash picked up. Our town looks pitiful. It used to not look like this. It used to look really good. We've got inmates. Don't tell me they can't get out there and pick up trash, because they can. I've been told they can't get out there in the hot and the cold. Yes, they can. We feed them, don't we? So they can get out there and pick up trash. There's just a number of things that can be done that does not have to be paid for. We pay for our garbage bill. Well, they told me the other day, limbs was left all out in the road, and I said, so I called the garbage company, Advantage, and they said, oh, that's because the city picks up the limbs. Those men didn't give two hoots how much they left in that road. Why are they picking up the limbs? Why are the city picking up the limbs, and we're paying that other company to come by and pick up the bag leaves and things? Why are we then, the taxpayers, paying the city for them to come by and pick it up? Why ain't it being consolidated, as the word's called? We need to work on that kind of stuff, and it will help bring down paying out money. And like I said, I don't think anybody in Macon, if we could see where our tax money's going to, if we could see it, I don't think anybody would fuss for an increase. But I do think y'all need to accommodate and think about what can people pay at one time.
Thank you, Ms. Neal.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your comments and your patience. Jake Farrow also wants to talk to us about the budget. Mr. Farrow, you recognize 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much for having me today, and also thank you for tabling the vote on the budget. I think that was exciting to me anyway. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Last time, 2 weeks ago, I spoke about the budgeting process in pretty general terms. Things like that it was very gut-wrenching, difficult to say the least. Tough decisions had to be made. It was a give-and-take situation, and also to pray for our county commissioners through this very, very important process. Today, I'd like to be a little more specific. I have over 35 years of budgeting experience in business, privately held companies as well as public companies. I've taken a stab at the 2019 budget. I don't have all the answers, of course, none of us do, but I believe my suggestions have merit and should be considered. I began the process focused on the number one goal of our government, and that is to protect our citizens, promote and provide general welfare for all of our citizens, the fire protection, sanitary conditions, trash pickup, and so forth, and also emergency management process. Some action items, which there are many action items that have to be taken during this budgeting process, but not limited to the ones that I'm going to talk about. But all government, number one, all government employees should pay some percentage toward their retirement plan. There's no doubt about it. It's very common in today's market, both public and private. Number 2 action item is the zero tax increase. Don't need a tax increase for 2019. 0 furlough days for 2019 is number 3. Number 4, and this is going to hurt some people, I think, and think differently about me, but to cut the total outside organization budget to $5 million from the current $10 million plus for 2019. Now, all the organizations on that list do some really, really good things, no doubt. But there's a lot of organizations in Middle Georgia that do a lot of good things. I'm involved with 4 different ones that do not receive one dime of tax money, but they're doing things for the benefit of our citizens. And also to 2020 is to reduce it to $3 billion. And for those organizations, they're all good organizations, is to take the initiative and really evaluate their plans and become more self-sufficient. I worked for the Cherry Blossom Festival for 4 years. One of the fears we had was we were going to lose the hotel-motel tax. Everybody feared that all the time. One of our objectives was, if we were to lose the hotel-motel tax, could we still run a festival? So our action plan in our pocket was, yes, we could. We'll become self-sufficient and we'll run the festival without hotel-motel tax if that happened. And that's the approach that has to be taken. And also the lady spoke to us about the various authorities, I quote authorities, industrial authority and so forth. I think we should do a thorough evaluation of the monies that are allocated to these authorities, and also a thorough evaluation of the money that's allocated throughout from the hotel-motel tax. I believe if we went through line by line, and I'm sure you're all going through that, there would be additional dollars saved. Tough times require tough measures, plus a willingness to sacrifice today for our future. The time is now. I'm offering my services free of charge, if you so choose, to help you, and God bless you all, and I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. We appreciate you being here and appreciate your comments and your offer. Mr. Robert Curry. Mr. Curry, we've been missing you, but we're glad you're here tonight. You recognized for 5 minutes, so you always have some good comments for us.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, commissioners, general public audience. Mr. Mayor, I'm here about the youth. Got too much killing in this town, Mr. Mayor. It's too much killing. I don't hear you saying nothing. I don't hear the commissioner saying nothing as a unit, as a body. It's just ridiculous. They talking about the opioid crisis, this, that, and the other. But it's too much killing, too much weapons. You know about weapons. You was in the war. I was in the war. We know war. Too much killing. Recreation. We get $30 million for recreation. It's a disparity of treatment in the money. Like Ms. Hunt said, the SPLOST committee, Third and Usher and his crew, I don't know what they're doing, but they ain't doing the best they can because there's too much disparity of treatment. For example, you gave Luther William Park $2.5 million out of nowhere. Just come up with it. Just, there it is. Okay, you did $6 million at the park for the skating park and all that. The poor children can't get down there. They can't even get to nothing in the neighborhood. You took away the swimming pool, you took away the gym in Freedom Park, but then you uplifted Vine Ingram, millions of dollars for the children that come and go. Come and go, Mr. Mayor. Their family fall in there in the bins, the Jags, and this, that, and the other, load up the book bags and the ball and bats and go home. No, they don't live in that area. The children that live in that area don't have no accessibility to the gym. It's hot. They got nowhere to go inside. I rode by that today. I did a tour. So I didn't come down here just talking to be talking. I like to know what I'm talking about. I did a tour. The little splash pad kicking, you know, the children out there. But that can't save a child's life from swimming. You can't learn how to swim in a splash pad. Swimming is a crucial issue for black children. It might not be for other children, but it's crucial for black children because the parents can't swim and the children can't swim. Who's going to get them out of the water when they go too far, Mr. Mayor? They just stand on the bank hollering. Okay, that's a crucial thing. You kill out the swimming pool over there. Put millions in there for Vine Ingram. Okay, we're going to go over to Booker T. Washington Center. I rode by there. You know, they're doing the road construction over there. That swimming pool got more dirt on it than the baseball field. It's It's just, you're going to let that one go like you did the one in Freedom Park. And the guy in Freedom Park that ran the swimming pool said that was the boomingest swimming park in the city. He had to have 5 lifeguards. Okay, so you're going backwards, Mr. Mayor. It ain't right. We got to hold y'all more accountable. See, what you need to do, you don't have no report, but you need to have a meeting where we can come down here and check and balance. You ask us a question, we ask you a question, and we get some conversation. But just to come down here and you look at it like we stuck on stupid, ain't getting it, Mr. Mayor. It ain't getting it. So what we need to do is now you build a Olympic swimming pool, South Bibb County, Olympic. Are you going to bust the poor children out of Pleasant Hill and Bartlett Cross and Bellevue and North Napier to the swimming pool in South Bibb County? What they supposed to do, Mr. Mayor? Okay, now you're going to say, well, Mr. Curry, we gave you a thing out there, Field Motomer, to tow it up. Well, make a long story short, a splash pad is for little children. I would say from 3 years old to 8. But once you get past 10, you ain't thinking about no splash pad. That's just a waste of effort. They ain't thinking about no splash pad. So you got the basketball court. So now you got all these children running around in the summer with nothing to do. But you got this juvenile justice center you gave $8 million down the street there. It's blooming. It's flourishing. Don't never have no problem. You spend almost $700,000 on furnishing for these different offices down here. So you've been messing up the budget, but you messing up where you want to mess it up at. You ain't helping to pull the downtrodden and the truly need it. So you got to disparate the treatment. And all of y'all just going along with the flow. Because you supposed to represent us. I don't know who district, and then another thing, put a map out so we'll know who got what district instead of just guessing. I don't know who got Booker T. Washington Center. Now you're over there talking about a Little Richard Resource Center, which is fine. But don't kill our Booker T. Washington Center in the swimming pool. Why we always got to get less out of the pie? You know, it ain't fair, Mr. Mayor. We might not pay the masses of the taxes, but we pay what we can. You can't pay no more than you got. So I'm saying to you, you can't play fair with a crooked marble. And if you start out crooked, 90% of the time you're going to end up crooked. So what you got to do is come together with the people. First thing you got to do, Mr. Mayor, stand up for the city. Like the lady was saying, I asked the sheriff this question. I said on your show, I said, Sheriff Debbie Davis, I said, why you can't get the inmates to have some kind of competition? You get 5 dump trucks, put them north, east, south, west, and the central, Macon, and clean up this junkie town. Well, Mr. Curry, we got 900 inmates, but we can't let but 40 out. Because the other 800 some hardcore criminals. If you got that many criminals, you need a shotgun man to take them out there to clean up this city, and you get a suit and go with them.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Dr. Lindsay Holliday, want to talk to us about the budget? Thank you very much, Dr. Holliday. You're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
Thank you. I want to thank Al Tillman because I was down here numerous times talking about Mullen Altobelli. It's just a broken record. They keep getting our money, and you keep, they're just too friendly with you, Mr. Mayor. Way too friendly. I was in the SPLOST oversight yesterday, and I'm the only person there that was asking questions. And I would recommend that we put on that committee people who really care about asking questions. I couldn't believe, the chairman, Thelmer Usser, he kept saying, good job. I kept thinking about, good job, Brownie. Good job, Brownie. I remember when Bush said that about the hurricane. Now you gave Theron, you named a park after Theron. What do you think he's going to say? But good job. Ethically, you should never name anything after a living person. Y'all actually have that somewhere in your ethics laws, but you keep making exceptions to it. Theron is, of course, going to be exuberant. Hell, name this building after me. Maybe I'll quit cussing about you. The Doc Holliday Government Center. How about that? That's got a nice ring to it. Anyway, I think who you need to put on this committee is Sarah Hunt, who's got the training and the critical mind and the concern. The person at my right yesterday said nothing. Member of the SPLOST Committee Oversight, and she got up and left after an hour. We meet once every other month. And she had budgeted 1 hour, asked nothing. That's not what the SPLOST Oversight Committee was supposed to be. I'd also recommend that Mr. Curry be on there. He's a critical thinker. He cares about our and he cares. And he's right. I mean, you sit up there and it's like, let me get over this public comment period. I know it's tough, but we need people who care about the money. Mr. Farrow, he's got some good ideas and training. He should be on the SPLOST Oversight Committee. These people would ask questions. If I'm the only person there asking questions and I'm not chairman, there's not a whole lot I can do. The Cherry Street hookah, I'd heard about that, but I think y'all ought to consider giving that man an exemption to the brown bag license. I enjoy a drink or two, but if the man's religion will not allow him to sell alcohol, but he's willing to accept people as they are to come in with brown bags, I think y'all need to give the man some slack. His business, it's a different kind of business. He brings some richness to our community, and he needs some consideration for that. So Moreland out to belly. We need people who are going to stay on y'all and critically ask these questions. People that are smarter than me. I'd had no accounting, other than a little bit in dental school. So there they are, Mr. Curry, Ms. Hunt, Mr. Farrow. These are good people, and they would serve this community.
Thank you, Dr. Holliday. Mr. Willie Frazier. Is Mr. Frazier still here? Hey, Mr. Frazier. Glad you're still here, sir. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all you commissioners and leaders of the city. You know, I come down here quite often as well, and I'm going to come down here more often, just like the lady said, because of what Elaine Lucas said. You know, if you care, you'll be here. The reason why I'm always here is because I care about Macon. I care about this city. You know, I talked about Pleasant Hill. I've talked about Pleasant Hill. I've talked about our community. I recognize the changes and different stuff, but just like the young man said, Mr. Curry, over there in the Pleasant Hill area, the swimming pool at Booker T. Washington is full of dirt now. So I mentioned this statement in one of my talks here, is that if anything happened to the Booker T. Washington Center and things that's over there in that center because of the great things that Mr. Shetall did at the Booker T. Washington Center for this city, not only for colored people and people of color, but for all nationalities of people. Colored people, white people, Indian people, any kind of people that Macon had that were good people. The Booker T. Washington Center did great things, and that's a staple in this city. When you start getting rid of staples that made such changes and made such differences and made Macon what it is, that's a problem, because those are the things that we need. See, my idea is it hurts me and hurt my heart because of the fact that here just a day or so ago, teenagers were shot and killed in this city. It's a sad idea that we're watching our citizens die. We're watching our children die. And we're living in communities where you can't hardly come outside. You see, maybe the best job is right down here in these offices, behind these doors, in these little rooms. But what appeases me is if I see a community leader out in the community, because guess what? I got a relative on the commission. And I've never brought them up because I never wanted to be up under their wing. But you know what? I remember my relative being a community activist. Went out with the police officers and talked to the community, made some changes, got with some people? When are our leaders going to get out and make some changes in our community? Because you don't have a community if it's dying. You don't have a community and you don't have people, because if your citizens all die, then what do we need leaders for? We need hands-on leaders, not just the ones that spend the money. You know, if we took the money completely off of the table and not even talked about the money, you know, when I first came in, you know what appeased me about a lot of you commissioners and a lot of you leaders is I got paperwork for things that you all did, great things that you did before you got in those seats. I still love those people, the ones that made the differences before it came all down to money, the ones that were willing to come out and stop people from killing one another and making differences. The ones that it made a difference to, that when you sold alcohol, I recognize that alcohol have to be sold in order to make up some of the funds. I have no problem with that. But I got a problem with recognizing that every time somebody get drunk, they go out and kill somebody. Every time somebody go out and turn around and do these different things that you're steady throwing money in, then, you know, our resource, you know, our city is dying. So we got to find another way. Or we all gonna wake up one day drunk and dead. You can build up every area of this city. Every area of this city, but if you still got the same base, you bring new people into the city, the old people in the city that got problems gonna kill them all. Rob them all. These people, you know, we gotta get them back to wanting to work. We got to get them back to believing in themselves. We got to get them back built up in the city looking like something. When I walk outdoors in South Macon over there, it look all tore down and destroyed. Please blight over there. I'm way over in Pleasant Hill trying to save an area that's historical to this city, and I go home to South Macon every day, walking through a war zone. Bloomfield, war zone. East Macon is where my church is. War zone. Everything tore up and everything tore down. You know, you don't have to go home to that every day. You turn around and look at the gated communities where we can't get in. So guess what? The kids don't have no other choice but to kill their neighborhood because we're locked into our neighborhoods. You see, some of us ain't got it. We can't move. I don't even own a car. I can't move nowhere. I can't go in a safe area.
Thank you, Mr.
I want to live out by Bowden Golf Course, but I can't get out there.
Thank you, Mr.
I can't afford to live out there. Help me get out there.
Thank you, Mr.
And then I won't have to keep on coming down here crying, asking somebody to help me build up my community, my city.
Thank you, Mr. Fraser.
Do you know how long we done left this city and turn around and go to other cities and brag on Macon?
Thank you, Mr. Fraser. We appreciate your passion. Thank you very much for being in. Thank you for your comments. No other people signed up for comments on non-agenda items. We've reached the end of our agenda. Can we get a motion to adjourn? Without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's hot in it. Yes, come back and tell what's yes, ma'am. What's on your mind?
When I came in, I gave everybody that I could a little piece of paper with a picture of a frog on it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you take a frog and put him in cold water, stick it on the stove and turn on the fire, he will stay in that water till his demise. Now, if you take another frog and throw him in hot water, he'll jump out. But I want to tell you, folks, we're in hot water. Our goose is cooked, and the only one that can save us is us. And I ask everybody in this room to talk to your neighbors and really put the word out there. It's time we do something about the situation. You can't spend money you don't have.
Thank you, Ms. Hodden. We appreciate it. We're adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.